Joseph Patrick, welcome Joseph. Joseph was early. Thomas Potts was the first at exactly 4 p.m. When I hit start, and Thomas Potts says hi. Richie Poole says sweet. Welcome Richie Poole. Jason Link says alpaca. Mike Richards, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. And Thomas Potts puts in $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Thomas. In the hands of the alpacas is the title, says Thomas. We'll start the screen a little bit early. Started the comments with a minute to go. I might have to lower that starting screen. 2.5 minutes is just like a minute too long. Where are we? Carlo Albanese says, hi, I hope you are well. I am doing well, Carlo. Thank you for asking. I'm feeling a lot better since yesterday. 47 Yorktown says, hello, Mr. Bird. Welcome, 47 Yorktown. And not Ryan Johnson with a $2 super chat. Star Trek Deep Space Alpaca. What was that one, Mom, you came up with? Oh, yeah, right. You typed in yesterday. Alpaca and the 40 Thieves was Mom O'Pre's suggestion. When I told her I had no idea what that meant, she was very confused. Like, how could I have never heard of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves? But I never did. I mean, I know apparently the Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck cartoon based on the story, but I did not know the actual movie or whatever it was. Story, movie, song, Mama Praise, telling me now. Apparently it's like the biggest thing that I missed in my life. Had no idea. Mike Richards, does JUOT stand for Jump Up on This? No, JUOT stands for Joe's Ultimate Off Topic, and it's a weird name, but it's because the forum came about when the forum Jeeps Unlimited, or what we used to call JU, decided to delete their off-topic, or what we called their OT section, one day, and so there were literally 2,000 people with nowhere to post. And I had the good fortune of having the most knowledge and time available to actually get a nearly identical forum up and running within 24 hours. And so those 2,000 people or so quickly migrated to JUOT.net. Now, we were new at this. We didn't know if there would be problems about using the name. So JUOT, I said, well, this isn't Jeeps Unlimited off topic. This is Joe's Ultimate Off Topic. So we're going to be just squeaky clean there. And obviously, A, nobody gave a shit to begin with, but two, the name stuck. So that's where we got JUOT from. It is a much smaller forum today. Over the years, many people got older and got out of jeeping, had families and left. From time to time, people stop back and say hi, but it is a shadow of what it used to be. The Epic Beard says, save the alpacas, donate to the Epic Nation. What? Carlos says, I got my first notification for your channel. Oh, well, better late than never. Jason Link says, Bird of Prey, I need a plan to rescue Auntie. Yes, I think if I send Sister O'Prey, she would probably do it. She's definitely keeps wanting to add to the beagle population of Karoga. Right, but here's the thing. If Sister O'Prey gets Auntie Tracker's probably not getting Auntie back. She's going to become a permanent resident. I know already Auntie is going to demand what's that? Asylum.
Right.
Auntie's gonna come and she's gonna go, ooh! And I'm like, what's that, Auntie? You're demanding asylum from the anti-Trekker household from Turdistan? Ah, woo! And okay,
No leash.
no leash. Yes, she will not have a leash on her while she's indoors. That is a Kuroga does not play that game. So we will liberate Auntie, or try in the next week or so.
I bet.
I know if I called Sister O'Prey, it would happen. And Alpaca got it. Alpaca, somebody got it. That's the Kissing Dax. Congratulations and thank you for the donation. Carla Albanisa's Star Trek, The Next Alpaca. Epic Beard is also saying hi. I forgot. Hey Nards and hey for the alpacas and nerds. Thomas Potts, today was a sucky day. Also glad you're on. Also anti-Trekker didn't push you down the ladder. Wink, wink. Yeah, well, Thomas, have you heard that anti-Trekker crashed the Space Engineers server? And that there's a chance everything you did today might be lost? I hope I'm not the one bringing you the bad news. I hope not too, because I did some work today, some initial work on my landing site. I was quite proud of what I did, but it took me hours. So I hope also that it's not going to need to be restored, but it's a possibility. And Yosef thank you, Yosef, for your donation. And yeah, so anyway, I went over to this restaurant Thomas was building in Space Engineers, which Anti-Trekker assured me was in a safe zone, and it wasn't, and I died. And I think Anti-Trekker pushed me down a ladder. I can't be sure, but they said, oh, go down this ladder, and next thing I know, dead, and like 100 kilometers from my base. So I couldn't even get back to my body in time. Yeah, not crashing off ladders. Just I was pushed. I was pushed. Not Ryan Johnson. Where's the anti-alpaca? Good question. Carlo, have this like. Thank you, Carlo. Mike Richards is Bird of Prey. Seriously glad you are feeling better. So am I. Thank you. Thank you, Mike Richards. Jason Links is Bird of Prey. That would be war for real with the turd state. If we took Auntie in, or if he pushed me down a ladder. Joseph Patrick says Alpaca 314 donated and said, "Hi Joe, Mama Pray, Sassy and the Flock," and hit like. Thank you, Joseph. Carlos says, "It's bad that only feeds Auntie when he gets up. It's bad that Anti-Trekker only feeds Auntie when he gets paid to. Lol. Yes, and you always feed Auntie how great of a leader you are, looking after Turtlecini dogs." Yeah, Anti-Trekker knows that, Kuroga and just any good person can't watch him starve his dog. So we're gonna pay him to feed him if he's gonna make it. I mean, if he said we have to pay to feed Mrs. Anti-Trekker and Joshua too, I'd have to triple. I have to put even more money in. I mean, it's not right. It's not right. And that's who Thomas wants to ally himself with. Josh treats us down with Bird of Prey 5 until she changes her name to Alpaca of Prey 5. Well, I don't know who this female Bird of Prey 5 is, Josh, but maybe you should talk with her. Thomas Bott says, I saw the message in Discord. If it's all gone, we should work together making something we can all use. No, if it's all gone, I'm nuking the server. I don't know what I'm doing. It's done. Not Ryan Johnson says pushed off a ladder by an alpaca. No, it was not an alpaca. Joseph says anti-tracker, it's mean to invalids. Karma will catch up with him, yes. Jason Link, both most likely. Surf Trektronics. Would Klingorf Wharf have two, whatchamacallit? There better never be a Klingorf Wharf, because I would lose all respect for not only the character of Worf, but for the actor Michael Dorn, who I have not lost total respect for, but I would if he chose to put on Klingorf makeup as Worf. If he puts on Klingorf makeup as some other Klingon, I just will hate the character. I won't hate the actor. An actor has to get paid. An actor needs to make some money, I guess. He doesn't seem like he's got a ton of parts coming up that he's been in. But as long as he doesn't sell out the Worf character, I'll be okay. Mike Richards says, yes, gods, alpaca assassins. Oh, ye gods, alpaca assassins. Oh, they're shifty creatures. Actor says, I don't like that Delta sticker. Who does it think it is? Bigger than the alpaca. I'm sorry, it's just what it turned out to be. Josh Street says, Vertebrae Trek Yards did the DS9 episode Valiant last week. Actually, I thought they did it yesterday. Or a couple days ago. I remember when it came up, I saw it in my feed. I was like, what's this? Trek Yards doing DS9? But then I saw that it was Valiant, which is a heavy Nog episode. So I assumed they did it because of Aaron Eisenberg's untimely passing. So I said, okay, I don't have to start going after TNG. We don't have to start a war. I'll give them a pass. Actor says nuking, new and already radioactive. Havoc Beard says Bird is hating Michael Dorn. No, I'm not hating. I'm just saying that if he sells out the character of Worf to be a Klingorf, I would. Joseph Patrick says Josh Street, it was yesterday. Yeah. I was going to say, it was much more recent than last week, unless maybe they shared it with their patrons early or something. I don't know. Surf Trektronics says Bird, can you do a Klingorf language voice? I don't think so. I've never tried. I mean, who the hell... Like, does Anti-Trekker sit practicing his Klingorf? I don't understand. How did he know he could do it? Because I've never, ever tried. Carlo Track Yards did it to honor Nog. That's totally... I get it. Completely... I don't mind it. Let's face it. If they did it for whatever reason, they're welcome to do it. Nobody's stopping them. Nobody's stopping them from doing DS9 episodes. Nobody's stopping me from doing TNG episodes. I mean, the way Trek Yards does their breakdowns, it's polar opposite of the way I do them. And it's not even... they seem to start right after I started doing it. The timing was a little suspicious. But actually watching them do it, it is absolutely nothing like I do it. And to be honest, it's not my thing. I love when Trek Yards does breakdowns of ships and tech stuff and does interviews with the with the people behind the scenes, the people making the ships. Sister of Prey. You got it? Yes. So yeah, I love Trek Yards when they do that, but I've watched a couple of their TNG breakdowns, and to be honest, it's not for me. It's way too slow. But I wish them good luck. I hope it's doing them well, and it's not like we have any exclusiveness to which series we do. Where are we? Oh, a Klingon orc. No, that sounds like Klingon. I don't know. I can't do it. Not right. Jonathan says Bird is starting an Alpaca's anonymous group. No, thank you. Joseph says you should review the Emmy-winning episode Trash Holes. Pun intended. Did Threshold win an enemy? An enemy. Did Threshold win an Emmy? Thank you so much, Hakami. Thank you very much. I'll get to you. Oh, now you are doing... I can't... I missed it. Now you're doing another brother... Now you're doing it, Brother Bird. Thank you, Hakami. Alpaca suffrage is a real thing in Kuroga. Free the alpacas, says Epic Beard. Alexander Brooks says hi. Hi, Alexander Brooks. Welcome. Stromore says greetings, Bird of Prey, Mamo Prey 5, and fellow nerds. Hector says it was the best drama Emmy Award, like the one of season 8 of Game of Thrones won. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd only be surprised because they never give Star Trek awards, right? They never give them awards. I guess I wouldn't be terribly surprised if the award they get is like for the worst episode ever created. Actor says it was the best I just read that. Carlos says I love Star Trek ships. Everybody loves Star Trek ships except Sister of Prey. Wesley says, hey man, welcome Wes. Shrowmore says, and greetings to Sassy, chaser of cats, eater of cookies, stalker of cardinals, defiler of cushions, and scourge of the squirrels. Yes. Jason Link says, Bird has the same ringer and talker caller ID that I have here at work. Lol. Well, it's a Panasonic phone system set up as default, so you probably have a Panasonic phone system at work. Joseph says, Bird of Prey. Trekyard says they covered all the ships. They are widening their portfolio of stuff they are covering. The only down thing is they're begging for super chats. Yeah, I've been there, and they're like, they do hit up the super chats a little hard, like a church passing out the collection plate. You know what though? Those people you could not get. They would not be able to dedicate the time they do if they were doing the channel as a hobby. So it is their job, right? It is Captain Foley's job and Commander Cocking's job to bring you Trek Yards. So they need the money. I mean, they need to make money not only to break even, but to live off of. I assume. I'm assuming. Because, I mean, Trek Yards seems like a full-time job. And YouTube has been hell on everybody lately. I don't care. I'm sure Trek Yards, they might not be getting hit as hard as Anti-Trekker or Doomcock or myself. I mean, every video I put out, every bed life, every video like one of these I put out. Granted, I don't depend on the money, so I don't give a crap. Every one, as soon as it's gone out, it's demonetized. Demonetized. I go to it like 5 minutes later, demonetized. They don't even email you about it either. So if you don't know it's been demonetized, you never know what happened. So I am certain that Trek Yards has probably seen a hit to their income, their ad revenue. And, they probably got to ask for it. They got to ask for it. I bet they don't want to ask for it, but I can understand why they do. Yes, it kind of rubs me the wrong way while I'm there, but I still go. I still go when I can, which unfortunately is not as often as I used to because there's just so many other YouTubers, and so many of you guys have shared your channels with me. And I try to go to as many of you guys' streams and uploaded videos as possible. Now, obviously, it's not possible to hit every one every week, but I am subscribed with notification to many, many of you, and I do my best. Eventually, if it gets like 2-3 weeks and I haven't been to it, then I just kind of delete it and I have to cut my losses. But I don't know, some of you will have noticed that I make a comment on a video that might be 2 weeks old or even 2.5 weeks old. Yes, it's been in my email box marked as unread for that entire time, and I slowly go through it, best I can. When I have the time, I listen, and I try to make constructive criticisms. If the video's great, you'll hear me tell you. If the video is less than great, I'll also be honest, do my best to tell you what I think you need to do. But I love it. I mean, and to be honest, I like hearing new people over Trek Yards and some of the more established people, because you never know. And a new person is it's like a wild card, right? It's a surprise. It's a present. You don't know. It could be a tie. Like, well, whatever. It's still a tie. Or it could be a frickin', bird of prey, goddamn technical manual that Thomas Bott sent me. That's really cool. Or the stuff that, oh shit. Was it Aaron? Sent me from Star Trek Las Vegas. Some really, really cool stuff. I'm so sorry. I have to look it up. But I mean, it could be anything. Wesley Crusher with a $2 super chat. I only super chat to my friends. Well, thank you, Wesley. Very, very kind of you to call me a friend. But the main line is, yeah, I understand why they do it, and I understand why it's annoying too. It's a tough position to have to be in. If you have to rely on YouTube for your income, I don't envy anybody in that position. Obviously, the income helps, whatever I make. The super chats and the little bit of ad revenue, which is literally maybe $1 or $2 a month at this point, especially since they demonetize everything immediately. It helps. I mean, it goes to paying the things I need, the extras that, aren't much of it, which isn't covered by insurance. And, but obviously my main expenses are frankly covered by my private disability insurance. So, unlike Anti-Trekker or Trek Yards, I don't have to depend on this for my livelihood, and Mama Pray, isn't going to be put out on the street if my YouTube channel gets really small again. I'm not saying stop super chatting, but if it's, if you only have $2 and it's between me and Anti-Trekker, you can give it to Anti-Trekker. Don't tell him I told you this, but you could give it to Anti-Trekker. It's okay. So, it's okay. Epic Beard says Sisso Prey is calling about her 3 new alpacas. I wouldn't be surprised. Thomas, ever watch Foley play Bridge Crew? He hashtag me too the female NPC and forgets to go to Red Alert Battle. No, Thomas, actually, I never, because I don't particularly care for Bridge Crew, so I don't watch them. I get the notifications, but those are the Trek Yards episodes I just delete pretty much immediately. But if you're saying they're fun to watch, maybe I'll check one out. But no, those have not been in my watch list. I like when Captain Foley walks around in the middle of the night, late at night for exercise. That I enjoy. Search Electronics says, Bird, dial a random phone number on speakerphone and speak Klingok to the person. Yeah. And they'll be like, Joe? I'm like, oh shit. Shromore says, home in Kuroga where the sassy and the alpacas play, where often is heard an SOB from Bird, and he flips off Turdistan all day. Thank you, Sharon Moore. Alexander Brooks can't stay long, just dropping by to say hello, hello. Thank you, Alexander Brooks, excuse me. Yeah, you're probably gone. Yosef says Threshold won an Emmy for makeup, so it should be referred to as the Emmy-winning episode. That is crazy. Carlo says, Bird of Prey, is the server up yet? Well, Carlo, at last I checked right before I started the stream, Anti-Trekker was having major server issues. He rebooted to add that mod that I suggested he add, that Hector had sent a link to me, and I'll be honest, I'm going to take the blame on it. I looked at the mod, I said, oh, this is really cool. I really urged Anti-Trekker to add it. So he had to restart the server to add it. And once he added it and restarted the server, complete server meltdown. So last I heard, he was considering he might have to start over again from scratch, cause it just wasn't loading. So Hector, I don't know if that mod's ever gonna make it onto the server again. I don't know if that mod caused the issue or just happened to be coincidence, but yeah, I don't know how far we are away, Carlo. I was hoping that by the end of the stream I could give out the info and all would be good, but at this point we'll see. Well, at the end of the stream I'll turn Skype back on and see if he's did an update, but I can't have Skype on while I'm streaming. It would make too much noise. Multi-Gunman says, Bird, how's it going? It's going good, Multi-Gunman. Feeling a lot better since yesterday. Multi-Gunman says, long live Kuroga, death to Turdistan. Thank you, Multi-Gunman. Wesley, Bird of Prey, Crazy Uncle Joe, you need to crash the new ships. Wes, I already crashed. I crashed. For the first time, I spawned in space. Now, I didn't realize when you spawn in space, you actually get a ship. I thought you just, like, spawned, a body in space, and I didn't have any idea how you could possibly survive that. But for the first time, I actually spawned in space, and I had a ship. Well, this is when we were testing the server, and I crashed it. Also, I did not know, Anti-Trekker didn't tell me, that he upped the speed mod from a max of 300 meters per second for large grid ships to a virtual infinite max speed, like 50,000 meters per second. So I was headed towards Earth at full speed, and when I started slowing down, I barely slowed down, and I impacted the ground at like 800 meters per second, and it was an amazingly round crater it left. But the ship was vaporized. Vaporized, not a single part to be found. Just this beautiful, big, round crater, like 50 meters across. Multi-Gunman, and of course I didn't record it because I wasn't expecting it to happen. Multi-Gunman says Bird's election campaign for president of the quadrant will be build the space wall between Kuroga and Turdistan. He'll have my vote, thank you. Josh Reed says, come on, Bird and Alpaca Beagle. No, nothing about Beagle bits. Actor says, man behind the curtains, Joe, and points at his wristwatch. Thank you, Actor, you're right. You're right. Okay, so we're going to get started. Let me skip ahead. YouTube sounds very stressful. Everyone has to walk a thin ice. Everything they do and say. Too many words for me, so Surf Trektronics. Thank you, Surf. And Wesley, thank you for your super chat again. Uncle Remus, Samuel Jackson is coming to replace the voice of Alexa very soon. Oh, boy. Joseph Patrick says, Bird of Prey, honestly, I really like Trek Yard's approach to TNG analysis. The long format and analysis, I watched every single episode. Well, very cool, Joseph. I hope that doesn't mean you hate mine, but you're here, so I'm guessing you don't. Search for Electronics Bird, I always use screenshots with audio and it never gets DCMA. I think video clips get the most DMCA. Well, video with audio, for sure. But this is not a DMCA issue. The DMCA and actually, it's not even DMCA. It's copyright. It's content match. Content match is the official word for what happens to 95% of videos. They get a content match, and then you can't monetize them, or they get blocked in certain countries or blocked worldwide. But you don't get any type of strike. Nothing bad happens to the channel. It's just, at worst, that video, you have to redo it. Okay? A DMCA, if a DMCA is filed, that is a copyright strike. Now, that affects your channel. That's a bad, bad thing. But in a DMCA or a copyright strike, the company doesn't make the money from your video. Just the video gets taken down. Nobody makes the money. In a content match, somebody else makes the money. You know, by all rights should have been yours because you made the video. But neither of those has anything to do with demonetization, which is simply YouTube hearing a word or a phrase used in your stream and then assuming that your stream is not suitable for most advertisers, and then they demonetize it, which basically means the vast majority of ad revenue you lose. Now, it doesn't hurt the channel, except that every time your video gets demonetized, I suspect it increases the chance your next video gets demonetized, just because they feel there's a pattern. So that's why you have to fight every demonetized video, else they will think that you know, it's not against YouTube rules to make videos that aren't suitable for most advertisers. But you have to tell them, no, I am making videos. And I've only had one video in about 40 that I've argued, that I've appealed, that actually they upheld and said that video wasn't appropriate for most audiences. And I believe that was the 9/11 video we did. All the other bed lives, they said, yeah, this is okay. After 2 or 3 days, which is coincidentally when most of the views happen. But my total number of views on bed life videos, you know, a good bed life video might get 150 views in the first week. To be honest, even if it was monetized for the full 150 views, I'd be lucky if that 150 views equated to 2 cents of income. So it doesn't matter. Joseph says, you are the best of friends, Joe. Thank you, Joseph. Carlos says, Captain Foley is fun. Late night streaming, absolutely. Thomas won't tell. Anti-tracker, thank you, Thomas. Lastly says, Bird of Prey, oops, I super chat you. I meant anti-tracker. Thomas says, there's no update yet in Skype. Mike Richards is asking if it's server sabotage. Not by me, Mike Richards. I was really, really happy with the landing spot I got for Kuroga. Beautiful, beautiful spot. Carlos says, vanilla server would be okay. Don't mind no mods. Block mods work well. If it's something that changes the game, can cause problems. Yeah, that is true. Uncle Remus, there I gave you a like, Bird of Prey. Take care and have a good day. Thank you, Uncle Remus. We're about to start. Oh, by the way, so excuse me, right? I totally forgot. So today we're going to watch In the Hands of the Prophets, which is the 19th episode on Netflix, or the 20th episode most other places. This is the season 1 finale, the final episode. Next time we start season 2. 1 of 7 seasons down already. It felt like we only started this yesterday. Oh man, 20 episodes. Well, I guess 19 because we did Emissary in one part. 19 weeks later, here we are. So this is In the Hands of the Prophets. Now, I remember this episode fondly. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, probably. But basically, in this episode, Keiko, who we haven't seen in a bit, Keiko is the school teacher. We knew she became the school teacher early on. But she has the first real problem this time because Bajorans, Bajorans believe the wormhole is the celestial temple and that the wormhole aliens are the prophets. But, of course, Keiko believes in science, so she's teaching that they're wormhole aliens and that it's a wormhole and an artificial structure built by, an ancient race of aliens. Whereas the Bajorans, the religious Bajorans, are like, you can't teach this to my kid, this is false doctrine or whatever. So it's a allegory for the, evolution, science, Christian fundamentalist stuff that's been going on in the United States. Pretty much in all years prior to 2016, but since 2016, apparently we've got more important things to worry about, or at least people to complain about. So I haven't heard anybody complain about the teaching of evolution in school since November 2016, which was very, very suspicious timing now that I think about it. But it's still relevant today because you say, well, how much religion should a public school teach? Or how should a public school go about, teaching a topic where science and religion, greatly differ? So it's a pretty good episode. It's a pretty good conundrum they've got wrapped for a fairly modern issue. Now, it was probably more an issue in the 90s when this came on. June 23rd, 1993, I believe, was the original air. Yeah, June 20th, 1993 was the original air date of this episode. But even through the 2000s and the 2010s, this was still an issue. It was still happening. Why? Huh. This is so weird. Huh. Okay. On my YouTube, on the YouTube screen, on my computer, the @BirdO'Prey5 that's got the lowercase b is highlighted where Carlo Albanese uses my name twice in two messages about the vanilla server being okay and always had problems because of speed mods. However, on the tablet, none of the Carlos posts are highlighted because I assume that the BirdO'Prey5 is not the cases are incorrect. It's case sensitive. Whereas on the little computer, it's case insensitive. So BirdO'Prey5 could be either way. Doesn't matter to you guys, not something you guys have to worry about. Just something very weird I first noticed. Big Beard, 19 weeks, I don't know, I smell Kurokan bath. Mr. Miles says first. Yeah, first at being last, says Jason Link. Mr. Miles, hey, Bird of Prey, gonna crash something during a DS9 review. I'm sure he'll find a way. Oh, I hope not, Mr. Miles. So anyway, so if you guys want to watch it live with me, you go to my Discord, which you can go to. It's at birdoprey5.com. You click on the Discord link, and then on the Discord channel, you go to Off Topic Main as the channel, and in there, right when I started the stream, I put in a link. It says Watch DS9 Live with Me, and that will take you to a website where you can watch the episode live, video and audio with me, at the same time as I'm watching it, like you're here in my living room. I'm basically sharing my living room with you so you guys can watch it. We can all watch it as friends. This is only open while I'm streaming, while it's live. As soon as I'm done watching, it's gone. You can't save it. You can't record it. It's not that. It's just friends watching a Star Trek episode together. So if you want to do that, you go to birdoprey5.com. You click on the link to go to my Discord. On my Discord will be in the off-topic main section will be a link that says come watch Deep Space Nine with me, and you click on that link. Now leave YouTube open so you can hear my audio commentary as I talk. So my commentary is going to be about 8 to 10 seconds behind what you're watching, but it's the best we can do. So we're going to get ready. I'm going to open this. You guys who aren't going to watch live, if you want to watch along with your own DVD or your own Netflix, go ahead and get that ready. And if you don't have anything, you can watch in the bottom corner over there. There will be screenshots every few seconds, just so you have some idea of what's going on in the episode. And I know I say this every time, and I lie to myself every time, but I'm really going to try to do this as commentary more than a play-by-play review, because I'm hoping you guys are watching on your own, or at least remember the episode. I don't need to explain every single thing that happens. Carlos is Bird of Prey. Thanks for letting us know. Not a problem. And Joseph says it's simple. Religion does not belong in schools. I've never seen a physics teacher asking for quoting science in a church, but that's me. Well, Joseph, I think that's more something we can talk about after the episode, but I would guess someone who's religious would debate what is, they don't consider a particular fact a religious fact. They just might consider it a fact. So I think that's where the problem is. Jason Link, I can't only have my phone here. I wish I would. If I could keep YouTube on the Xbox, no worries though. Not a problem, Jason. Not a problem at all. Just for people in general. That's how to do it. So, okay, so from here on out, guys, for sure, if you want me to read your chat, do @BirdoPrey5 or Super Chat, of course, but @BirdoPrey5, I'll be able to read your chat as soon as I can, because we're going to get ready to watch, and I'm not going to be able to see most of it. Okay, so I am at the place where I'm going to watch it live. Nobody seems... Oh, we got 2 connected users. So, okay, we have somebody else here. So, here we go. Anti-Trigger just started playing Space Engineers, so maybe he's got something working. Okay, and I'm going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, O'Brien and Keiko look like they're buying some kind of lollipop. And O'Brien's telling Keiko to try one. So, apparently they're called Jumja sticks. So Keiko's kind of pissed because O'Brien's got a new female engineer, and Keiko is not so happy. Yeah. Keiko's a little bit jealous. So here she's doing the lesson where the wormhole was discovered by Commander Sisko and Lieutenant Dax. So she asks, does anybody know what makes this so special? And Jake says, yes, it's stable. So now the Bajorans come in. So she's talking about why a stable wormhole is so important. She's asking, does anybody know why it's stable? And Keiko says, because it was artificially constructed. So Keiko says, Commander Sisko encountered the entities that created the wormhole, and the Bajoran at the back says, don't you mean the prophets? And she says, yes, on Bajor they're called the prophets. And so Keiko's saying how ships can pass safely through it, and it's the person who will become Kai Wynn says that the prophets guide the ship safely through. So Keiko's saying she doesn't teach Bajoran spiritual beliefs. That's her job. Keiko's job is to open the children's mind to science, and I don't know, Vedic Wynn, whatever she is now, says that she's opening the children's eyes to blasphemy, and she can't permit it to happen, to continue to happen. Understood, Joseph. But that's exactly the conversation this episode is meant to spur on. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying one answer is right or wrong. Mind you, it is a sensitive topic, and that's exactly why they did this episode this way. And to be honest, that's one of the things that make really good episodes of Star Trek, and really good episodes of the Orville, for that matter, when they tackle issues like this. Some people, not every, but some people would be more willing to say, oh, the Bajorans have a point, or oh, the Federation or Keiko has a point, where in real life they might not be so sure-footed as to where they fall on this topic. But seeing it in a different universe through the eyes of different people, if you have an open mind, you hopefully see points on both sides that you didn't consider before. And that's something you can do because it's a work of fiction, whereas you don't let yourself drop your guard in real life, in real news, right? I mean, if these people were discussing this on a Sunday morning talk show, you would be rooting for your side and not really listening what the other side has to say. I presume. Most people. But that's what makes it great. That's what gives Star Trek a good way of doing things. Okay, so O'Brien is saying sorry he's late, but the woman says she's already done. This is the engineer that Keiko is jealous that he's hanging around with. O'Brien saying she didn't do a bad job, not bad at all. Says she keeps it up, he'll be out of a job. So she was about to open something. He says that not that one. You need it's a security seal. You need an EJ7 to open it. And his EJ7 is missing. It was here yesterday, he says. She said maybe he left it in ops. He's like, no. He doesn't misplace his tools. So Keiko's talking to Keiko's talking to Sisko, and Sisko is saying that he's not surprised. He says, so Keiko's like, you knew this was going to happen. And Sisko's like, I wonder if we're ever going to find the common ground to bring Bajor into the Federation. So yes, it's Vedic Win. So Sisko's asking Kira what she knows about Vedic Win, that she's from an Orthodox order. She has some support. She has some support for becoming next Kai. And Keiko asks, what support does she have on this station? And Kira says, she has my support. And Keiko can't believe it. And Kira is saying, maybe we need 2 schools. One for the Bajorans and one for the Federation. So Sisko's like, we can't separate it. See, Kira's saying if she's teaching a fundamentally different philosophy, Keiko is saying, I'm not teaching philosophy, I'm teaching science. And Sisko is saying his philosophy is there's room for all philosophies. And he's asking Kira, how do we deal with this? And Kira says, I'm not sure you can. And Yosef says, vertebrate difference here is Bajorans can actually see their representations of their gods, so the conflict is even more tangible. Well, you would think that would give some people on one side, I don't know, more of a reason to believe the Bajorans. So Vedic Win and Sisko meet for the first time. And Sisko wishes Vedic Win wouldn't call him the emissary. He says, call me Benjamin. And she's like, but you are the emissary. Don't you know the chosen role you've been given? And Sisko's not yet comfortable in the role. And Vedic Win is doing her Bajoran ear trick. I don't know. Still the disbeliever. She wants to ask Qapla why a disbeliever would be chosen by the prophets. Qapla said something. So Vedic Win told Qapla that she would do anything to look into the eyes of the prophets, and Qapla told Vedic Win to sit in darkness for a day. So she's saying the teacher dishonored the celestial temple. And if she doesn't relent, she cannot be responsible for the consequences, which, of course, always means you're dealing with somebody totally sane and rational. So, they just came into ops. O'Brien said with that missing tool, somebody can access every critical system on the station. So they're doing a scan for tritanium. They're seeing something in a power conduit. He doesn't know what tritanium would be doing there. So they shut down the conduit, and they're going to look at it. And course, it's your generic blob in a Jeffries tube. Uh-oh. There's organic material, too. I think it's both the missing tool and the missing crew member who didn't report for duty. Thomas Potts says, mark my words, Win will never be Kai. So O'Brien's trying to buy another Joomla stick, and the guy's like, sorry, we don't have any. And O'Brien's like, what are all these in front of you? And he says they're not for sale. And O'Brien takes the guy by the shirt because O'Brien doesn't play these games. And the guy happened to be Bajoran and says that he doesn't need to sell anything to these people if he doesn't want to. And now O'Brien's pissed. The guy says, seek the prophets. And Odo, under his breath, says, seek them yourself. So now there's Vedic Win with a whole bunch of school children and parents. And they say, and here's Mrs. O'Brien now. So they're saying that Mrs. O'Brien is an excellent teacher. And O'Brien says, doesn't deserve what you're doing to her. So, Vedic Win is saying, if I misjudged you, I'm terribly sorry. So she's like, is there a place in your school for the prophets? And Keiko says no. So, Vedic Win says, please believe me. I want to find a way to allow these children to find a way in stay in your school. So Vedic Win is saying, I'll be the one to make the first concession. I won't teach, don't teach anything. I won't ask you to teach about the Celestial Temple. Just don't teach about the wormhole at all. And Keiko's like, what, you want me to ignore it? She's like, I'll find some other stuff to teach. Well, Keiko's like, no, she won't accept it. And Vedic Win says, she tried to be reasonable. And she kind of did. She kind of did. Well, let's be honest. In the beginning, there were only a couple of students in her class, right? I mean, Nog and Jake were their only two students in the very beginning. If it goes back to that, it goes back to that. So Cisco's trying to figure out why this guy died. Supposedly died. O'Brien made out some reason about the Cardassian design. So O'Brien's like, he borrowed my tools without asking. So they said that it's happened in the middle of the night. He said he's a Starfleet engineer. You don't take a man's tools without asking. So Odo is going to take a closer look. Because Odo's saying, so you're saying it might not be an accident. Now Jake comes up to talk to Cisco. There was only Jake and 4 other kids. So she talked about Galileo instead. Said, do you know Galileo was tried by the Inquisition because he said that the sun moved around the earth. The earth moved around the sun, and the Inquisition said the sun moved around the earth. And Jake says, how can anybody be so stupid? And Cisco says, you know, it's easy to say that looking back 7 centuries, but Cisco is talking about the Bajorans, about how their faith was the one thing that kept them alive during the war with the Cardassians. And Cisco actually says, why shouldn't the Cardassians call those aliens prophets? Cisco doesn't want to think that the Bajorans are stupid or are thinking that way. But they've got to find a way. They've got to find some help. They've got to find some way of rectifying, you know, Starfleet ideals with Bajoran ideals. Because that's his main mission, is getting Bajor into the Federation. And if he can't solve this, frankly, he's not going to ever get Bajor into the Federation. Which we know, you know, spoiler alert. We know what happens. So, Vedic Barile. So Cisco bent over thinking he was going to touch his ear, but he said, no, that's unpleasant. So this guy swore he'd do away with the archaic ear pull that Bajorans do. He's talking about how he used to be the gardener. So Cisco wants an assembly with the Vedic assembly. And that his ideology is quite different from Vedic Wind's. And he is also in the lead to become the next Kai. And he's saying the Vedic assembly will not see him. Some fear Cisco as the Federation that they see as godless, and some fear him as the emissary that walked with the prophets. He said today he's only a Vedic, but someday, if the prophets will it, he can be Kai, and then he can be more helpful. And so Cisco says, so in other words, being my friend now will hurt your chances of becoming Kai. And he says, yeah, the prophets teach patience. And Cisco says, I see they also teach politics. So he invites Cisco to stay and enjoy the garden as long as he likes, which means get the hell out. No help here. Goodbye. You might be emissary, but you can't stay here. Yosef's grab him by the ear. Track riders have some serious ear fetish. Yeah, they do. So Cisco's asking Kira, am I imagination or are we short-handed today? Kira said 3 Bajoran crew members called out sick. So Cisco's asking Kira if her people are willing to throw away everything they've done the last 7 months. And Kira says everybody knows if the Federation leaves, the Cardassians will be back. Well, they don't seem to care. So Cisco wants more support. Kira says I've given all the support I can. Kira says it's not enough. Cisco tells Kira to tell the sick Bajorans they better get well immediately or they're going to recover on their way to their next assignment. So, woes to the person who's actually sick this day. So Bashir is saying that he can tell that the energy discharge didn't kill the crewman. It was a phaser set to kill. A phaser set to kill killed the guy, and then they vaporized him to cover it up, or ashified him, since there were ashes left. Cisco's asking if this could be tied to the school issue, and Bashir said no, he was killed the night before the Vedic arrived. So they're not even sure of what happened. Odo's saying that the log could have been altered. Kino did take the turbo lift to level 3, but not to the power conduit. He went to runabout pad C. So O'Brien's asking what was he doing in a runabout at 4 in the morning, and Odo said apparently he was getting murdered. Of course. O'Brien just checked the runabout, says it all looks normal. The Bajoran female engineer says everything looks good over here. Odo. O'Brien doesn't even know what he's looking for. O'Brien says if something happened here, it's been pretty well covered up. So the woman asks if O'Brien knew the guy who got killed well. O'Brien said not really, and she didn't know him well either. Apparently, Bajoran and Starfleet officers don't really socialize. And so O'Brien says, why not? And she's like, I don't know, they just keep to themselves. She's like, well, you don't do that with me. She's like, well, you're not like the others. You're nicer. I think she's got the hots for O'Brien. She definitely has the hots for O'Brien. O'Brien says he'll close up. You better leave. It's hard being a player, O'Brien. Kira is one of the most unlikable characters. Was always nice, when she was not in an episode, says the Epic Beard. So Quark is asking Odo if there's a Bajoran convention. And Odo's saying no, it's an Orthodox Bajoran order. He said, Orthodox, they'll need twice as many Dabo girls. So Odo's asking Quark, what does he know about the murder of Ensign whatever? And Quark says, I'm not a killer. And Odo says, I know, but most of your friends are. Quark says, well, nobody's taking credit for the death of the Starfleet officer. Sorry. So O'Brien calls Odo. Odo tells Quark keep his ears open. And Quark tells us that's the 7th rule of acquisition. Keep your ears open. So O'Brien found a security bypass model. He ran a diagnostic across the board. It wasn't at runabout pad C where he was. It was at runabout pad A, which is nowhere near where Hino was. Odo saying it makes perfect sense. You say Kino sees something suspicious going on at runabout pad C. He gets killed, and then the killer doesn't go back to runabout pad C because it might get traced to Kino's security log, so he goes to runabout pad A. And there was just a big explosion, and they're running, and O'Brien says, it's the school! So O'Brien running. There's fire, the automatic fire suppression system. I guess that they don't have sprinklers. O'Brien's yelling for Keiko. Odo's holding him back. They won't let O'Brien run in, but luckily Keiko wasn't in the school. Keiko comes running, and now they finally got some type of futuristic, I don't know, fire extinguisher out. What was burning? I mean, what was burning, actually? So it was a simple homemade bomb. Blew up the school. So Vedic Wynn is asking where was Mrs. O'Brien? And she's asking, was she hurt? Was anyone hurt? Sisko said no, and Wynn says, oh, the prophets have been kind. And Sisko said the prophets had nothing to do with this. And she says, is the emissary holding me responsible for terrorism? And Sisko says the commander of the station is. So Sisko says, you know, you claim the prophets as your exclusive audience. Nobody talks to you on the planet. So you come up here to talk. You come up here to get more people to listen to you. And now Wynn is saying, I see you're here to destroy us. She's like, you would drag us into darkness with you. And she's saying, we will not go. So Sisko just tells her that she made her first mistake. And Sisko says the Bajorans who've lived on the station worked with us for months. We've joined us in exploring the Gamma Quadrant, protecting the wormhole, building the future of Bajor together. These people know we're neither the enemy nor the devil. We don't always agree. We have some damn good fights. He's looking at Kira. But we always come away with a little better understanding and appreciation. And he's telling Wynn she won't succeed here. The school will reopen, and the Bajoran parents will bring their kids back. And Vedic Wynn just says, we'll see. Vedic Wynn was I hated that character. I mean, the actress plays it so well, but man, to play a character that just festers, you hate so much. It's well done. So Cisco's back in ops. So Keiko's going to hold classes in one of the small cargo bays, if that's okay. And of course, Cisco's okay with it. So now O'Brien is talking to Cisco about the security bypass module in Pad A. It looks like somebody's might have been trying to steal a runabout. So there's an incoming message from Vedic Barile on a Bajoran transport. So Vedic Barile is coming to the station after all. And Cisco's like, invitation? And Vedic Barile says, you did invite me to tour your facility. And Cisco's like, yes, of course. He didn't invite him, but he understands. And Cisco says, of course we have some damage on the promenade. We haven't been able to clean it up, but he's like, maybe I'll be able to help you. So Cisco's happy. Vedic Barile is here. He doesn't know the exact details, but we'll see. Now, the female Bajoran engineer who has the hots for O'Brien is secretly talking with Vedic Wynn. So she's telling Vedic Wynn that they found out about the runabout. She has no way to escape now. So Vedic Wynn is saying that we must accept this as the will of the prophets. And the Bajoran engineer says, but if I go through with this now, I'll be caught and executed. And Vedic Wynn is saying the sacrifices the prophets calling us to make are great. But the rewards they give will last through eternity. And Vedic Wynn is such... So, O'Brien found a file locked in, he's trying to open, and it's locked with his own security code. But he doesn't know the security code. He never made the file. It's in the security field subsystem. He's having Dax hack it. So, of course, seven sequences turns out to be 7 digits that they just magically come up. No, Wynn is not Kurogan, Thomas. And here's Vedic Barile kissing babies, like a real politician. And of course we have that old case that every assassin carries. So O'Brien got into the program. He's accessing it. Sequential overrides of security fields to get to runabout field A. So basically it's to let somebody get from the promenade to the runabout. So he's running a sensor sweep of the promenade, report any anomalous readings. And O'Brien's like, it's an escape route. So now the computer found an anomalous reading. Something. Subspace relay was activated in the security office. They don't know what it does, so O'Brien's going to look. Odo's doing his best to provide protection for Vedic Barile. And Vedic Wind says so Vedic Barile saying our paths have grown apart. Hopefully we can move them together. Vedic Wind says she'd like nothing better. So Vedic Barile says, come with me to the school together. We can have a peaceful resolution to this. And Vedic Wind says, of course. O'Brien is scanning. So O'Brien realizes that it's integrated into the isolinear core processor. And Dax said, didn't you just repair that 2 days ago? And O'Brien said, yes, I did, with Neela, the Bajoran woman. So now O'Brien is starting to realize that whatever is going on, Neela is behind it. O'Brien's got to say it's got to be weapon detectors on the promenade. That's the only thing that would affect. Dax is saying they appear to be functional. O'Brien says she's good, she's real good, she can make it look like everything's normal. It's got to be weapon detectors, so O'Brien calls Cisco. Cisco takes the call inside. He thinks the weapon detectors have been disabled, but he's not entirely sure. And Cisco's like, what do you mean you're not sure? And O'Brien's like, I think Neela might have shut him off. And Cisco's like, your assistant? And he's like, yeah. So now Cisco's coming out, looking around, seeing if he can see Neela. And there she is, walking quietly, with a determined look on her face. And she's looking right at Vedic Barile. And Cisco looks forward, looks back in slow motion. He's got to stop an assassination. She opens the Federation case, pulls out a Bajoran phaser, takes aim with dozens of people around her. Cisco yells no and does a jump or something. Everybody turns around, and she gets pushed, and she gets pushed. Her first shot misses, and then Cisco jumps onto her, and he gets her. He pushes her down, and the woman is saying, "I answered the call of the prophets. I answered their call." Kira looks right at Vedic Win. She knows Vedic Win is responsible. She says it was all to get him here, wasn't it? The school, the protest, the bombing. You did it all to kill him. You knew it would get him out of the monastery, to stop him from becoming Kai. And Vedic Win doesn't even answer Kira, just walks away. This was the episode where we knew Win was going to be bad news. I don't know how the second shot didn't get the person's leg. Plot armor. So Neela insisted that she acted alone. And Kira says she'll never tell us the truth. She'll never be able to prove that Win was behind it. Kira's kind of upset. Kira is saying she hasn't seen OK in years. A year ago at this time, she was still fighting Cardassians. If you had stopped by and told me a year later the Cardassians would be gone, I'd be wearing a uniform up here protecting some wormhole, and Cisco corrects her and says, "You mean the Celestial Temple." And Kira is saying, "I envied Vedic Win because she was a true believer." So Cisco says Kira needs to get some rest, and Kira says, "I'd rather help you, Commander." And she heard what he said to Vedic Win, and that he was right about what he said about the Bajorans, at least her. And Kira admits, "I don't think you're the devil." Wow, what great progress. Cisco says maybe we have made some progress after all. And yeah, what progress? You're not the devil. Okay, you have she recognizes his right to exist. Jason Link says, "Bird of Prey, I'm out for now. Not sure if you'll still be on when I get home. Live long and alpaca, my friend." Thank you, Jason Link. Let's see, what else did I forget? Did I miss? Thomas says, "Win is a Kurogan." That's false. Yosef says she looks like a killer. I guess I didn't realize she was the killer. I didn't remember she was the killer until later in the episode. I honestly forgot at the beginning. Yosef says, "Grab him by the ear." Trek writers have some serious ear fetish. Yes. Yes, they do. Thomas Potts is Bird of Prey. Mark my words. Win shall never be Kai. Spoiler alert, Thomas. You're wrong. Carlos says, "I see religion as a history book of events that happened, however, a bit inaccurate, and to the aspect others views as well as to help control the people, and science explains the universe." Yosef says, "Bird of Prey, the difference here is the Bajorans can actually see their representations of their gods." Excuse me. So the conflict's even more tangible. I know I read that before, but I'll read it again. So yeah, here is the episode. Like I said, I actually really like this episode. I would probably put this as the second best episode, well, third best episode of the season, right behind Duet Also, I mean, Emissary I kind of consider separate, but I thought Emissary was a pretty good episode. There was a 2-part episode. So I would say Duet, Emissary, and In the Hands of the Prophets are the top 3 for season 1 for me. I don't know if it happened to be because this was the end of a season episode that was starting to get good, like really good, or it just happened, just turned out that way. I liked seeing that this was a real life issue, an allegory they did. You know, we could look at what was happening at the time. We can look at what happens today. Even in this chat, it's bringing up conflict between people who have faith, who believe in something beyond science, and people who just want to believe in science, which is, both are equally valid and fine. I don't have a problem. God knows I'm not sure what I believe. Joseph Patrick is saying Alamarain. No, Alamarain is not in the top 3 or top 5 of season 1. I'm sorry, Joseph. No, not Alamarain. Neither science nor religion can make Alamarain a great episode. Best Move Along Home Can Hope to Be is not the worst episode of all Trek. But I think it is certainly the worst episode of the season, and the worst episode, likely, of Deep Space Nine. But this was a good episode. We got to see Keiko. We got to see the O'Brien's marriage. We got to see I guess we should have noticed from the beginning, but when you have another character introduced, interacting with the main characters, you can be pretty sure that they're going to be either dead or arrested or executed, something by the end of the episode. So I guess we should have known the warning. The warning signs were there for this woman, but who knew? But then we get introduced to Vedic Wynn, who, as we know, becomes Kai Wynn, becomes a major player in the show right through the final episode. And Kai Wynn, when she becomes Kai Wynn, even now as Vedic Wynn, you can tell she's an evil person. She's not a good person. She's somebody you love to hate. And I'll be honest, I have real hatred. I don't have a lot of hatred for a lot of people, but I have real hatred in my heart for the character of Vedic Wynn and later Kai Wynn. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot of, I don't know, a lot of emotion or something to get that type of response. So I gotta say, the writers, the actors, they did a great job. As much as I hate her, I recognize that to get an emotional reaction that strong, you have to do something right. Mr. Miles is bird of prey, worship the almighty Burnham, for she is the perfect one. Carlos has a red shirt. No, she wasn't wearing red. Mr. Miles is bird of prey. Did you put Wynn in charge of human resources in Kuroga? Absolutely not. Wynn is not in charge of human resources. Wesley, bird of prey. I could never stand Keiko. Almost the worst Star Trek character. Really, Wes? I don't have any problems with Keiko. Really. I mean, minimal, if any. I have no problems with Keiko. Well, why do you hate Keiko? Worst Star Trek character? I'm trying to think, who would I rate under Keiko? Listen, I don't hate Keiko. But who would I rate under Keiko? Well, Wesley Crusher. Wesley would rate under Keiko. Young Molly. Like the 3-year-old Molly. Once Molly grows up towards the end of the series, I'm more okay with her. But Wesley, young. I wouldn't even put Molly. Molly is too young. Who else? Who? Neelix. I don't like. I'm not a big fan of Neelix. So, yeah. I mean, there's not 100 people or 50 or probably even 10. I could say I dislike more, but I think she's just an okay average character. I can't say there's anything specific about her I don't like. Thomas is saying her first name is Alpaca. Alpaca Win or Alpaca Keiko or both. Miss Lowendale says Bird of Prey, they did do much right when it came to DS9. They did. Joseph says Louis Fletcher acted the hell out of the character. Louise Fletcher. Thank you, Joseph. Epic Beard, she's annoying, not the worst. Kira is far worse. Oh yeah, Epic Beard kept talking about how Kira was the worst character. To me, Kira's not the worst character at all either. But I'm not gonna lose sleep because somebody else thinks Kira is a terrible character. Wesley, Michael Burnham is a Star Trek character. Not to me, she isn't. Thomas Potts Wesley is a horrible character. Yes. I didn't mean you, Wesley. I meant, Will Wheaton's Wesley Crusher. Joseph says, Wesley, I would sue Bird of Prey for that statement. And Mr. Miles says, Bird of Prey, Travis Mayweather might be the most hated Trek character because he was so dull and poorly written. I didn't hate Travis Mayweather. He was the son of he was raised on a freighter. I didn't mind him. We even got to meet his family. Who hates Travis Mayweather? Honestly, I didn't hate Enterprise at all. I liked Enterprise. But I would rate Mayweather over Reed, and I didn't hate Reed either. But I would put Mayweather over Reed. Oh, Anti-Trekker's here. I'm sorry. Well, Anti-Trekker, if you use app Bird of Prey 5, it makes sure that I read your comment. In fact, it says it right up in the. There's a note right up there. Anti-Trekker says everyone knows that Win is Bird's concubine in Kuroga. Anti-Trekker, did you get the Space Engineer server fixed? Anti-Trekker says, oh sure, skip my comment, jerk. And to think I've been spending the last few hours trying to get the server back up for you Kurogans. Did you do it though? Yeah, Wesley is asking if the server is up. Can I drop the password, Anti-Trekker? Can I give them the password right now? Is the server back up? This'll be it. John DeMarco doesn't hate any of the Enterprise characters, but I think some of them, like Mayweather and Reed, are forgettable. Yeah, I mean, to a point. Like, I'm not going to say Mayweather was a top 3 or top 5. Certainly, excuse me. I mean, you got Porthos, right? Porthos at the top. You got Hoshi, obviously. People don't forget Hoshi. You got Dr. Phlox. He's memorable. You got, what's her face? The Vulcan. Oh man, brain is messing up. T'Pol. You got Captain Archer. Captain Archer is probably the most forgettable captain. You got the engineer, the Southern engineer, Tucker. Wasn't a big crew, now that I think about it. Certainly not nearly as big as Deep Space Nine, or even as big as Voyager, which I guess makes sense since it's a much smaller ship. Carlo is thanking Anti-Trekker for the work he's doing for us. Carlo, don't thank Anti-Trekker until he's done. Epic Beard Wesley, your mom may not be the best character. Maybe it runs in the family. Miss Miles likes Reed. Josh Reed Anti-Trigger says it's back up for everyone that isn't Karogan. Anti-Trigger says the server is up, but it had to be wiped, so you'll need to replace anything that we agreed you could paste. Thomas Buildings was able to blueprint before. No! God damn it! I spent hours today! Hours! Huh? Ah, man. It was such a beautiful location. Not happy. Not happy. Have you tried rebooting it just to make sure it actually reboots? Because I don't want to lose everything again next time you reboot. Just in case it wasn't the mod that was the problem. Just asking. Anti-Trek is sorry. Yeah, okay. I understand. I know. Believe me, I understand. Computers, things like this. No, Carlo says, I'll come on when it's on and help to rebuild. Carlo, it doesn't matter. It's not the same, Carlo. It's not the same. Anti-Trigger's doing some testing now. Mamo Price saying we should find a different game. Hasn't been working right forever. Well, I guess we're not ready to release it publicly yet. So, I should have copied the freaking base. I should have copied what I built. The problem was it was so perfectly integrated into the surroundings that even if I had copied it, there was nowhere I could ever have pasted it that it would ever work like it was supposed to. That was the real problem. That's the real tragedy. It's not something that could have been saved. Yosef says, I'm happy when I'm not playing. You have more issues than Kurt Cobain. Server should be called Club 27. Thomas had no major issues before on the server. Neither did I, Thomas. I mean, when there's only 2 of us on, it's working absolutely fine. But then it's all gone. Actor, why are we pasting things? I thought this was a start from 0. Well, Actor, like I said, Kuroga negotiated a conditional surrender. So, take it up with the server administrator. And I had not pasted anything in yet. But long story short, Actor, Kuroga gets 1 paste. 1 paste. That was a condition of the surrender. It's technically going to belong to Azim when it does get pasted in, whenever that will be. Son of a bitch! I had 2 ships, the SOB Cockpit and the SOB Scout. Son of a bitch! There was cobalt 200 meters from the base. Cobalt! 200 meters from the base. And not one of those surface things of cobalt. A deep vein of cobalt that had tons of cobalt. Iron, gold, no, not gold. Iron, silver, magnesium, silicon. Everything was freaking walking distance from the landing location. No! Once you respawn the world, it's a whole other planet. It's created. It's all randomized. We had... Son of a bitch. Josh reads his little bird got lucky, but lost it all due to him getting greedy. I didn't get greedy! I didn't do anything! All I did was ask Anti-Tracker because Hector sent me a mod that looked really good. It colorized the damn icons for all the stuff in your inventory, which frankly the software maker should have been doing to begin with. And Hector sent me this mod, so I sent it on to Anti-Tracker, and Anti-Tracker installed the mod, and next thing you know, the server's destroyed. And he has to restart it from scratch. Except, somehow, he did have a copy of Thomas's restaurant. Very suspicious. I did not want more mods than the game could handle. This was an inconsequential mod. All it did was change the colors of the icons of stuff you had in inventory. It didn't change the game mechanics at all. Ms. Mouse says if you want mods, you have to accept running old versions of the game. That's fine. I don't care. We could run old versions of the game all day long. Actor says he's seen that mod used in many servers and thought it would help quality of life. Anti-Tracker says, suspicious, we're building on the neutral site. You were trying to get an edge up for Kuroga. I wasn't trying to get an edge up. I was trying to make sure everything worked. Okay, if you really thought I was trying to get an edge up, then I could have spent the next 12 hours out of the game, and it would have evened itself out. Also, did you shut off the meteor storms? Because they're just going to waste more resources than they could ever bring down. Yeah, it sounds like foul play from Turtistan. I agree, Jason. I know, Thomas. I know you were building it in the new world. It didn't come from a previous one, except it did now, because Anti-Tracker is pasting it in. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely fine with him pasting it in. I just, how did he know to copy and paste it in? Just because he rebooted the machine. That's all I'm saying. I know, and I'm not saying he did it on purpose. I'm just saying, in part back of my mind, you know, the suspicious part of my mind, it's questionable. And it tricks the action models. It does not work that way with the server software that auto updates everything. Actor says that makes things even worse. Ms. Mouse says the Anti-Tracker is using mods that can prevent auto updates. Ms. Mouse says I don't know about this game exactly, but usually they're out there. Well, this game is kind of unique. Epic Beards is always blueprint everything. Anti-Tracker says I managed to get a cribbled version of the world up long enough to blueprint. Huh. Uh-huh. How was it crippled? Josh Reed says it was foul play by Kuroga trying to win against Turtistan at all costs. Carlo, pasting can cause problems too. It's a lot for the game to do at once. Thomas, he blueprinted it. Actor says the suspicious part of Bird's mind is most of his mind. And Thomas, he couldn't have blueprinted yours because then he would know where your base was. He could have told me. I could have gone in and blueprinted it. But like I said, even then I would have said, I can't. Because it's like connected to the world. There's nowhere on the new planet that it would ever possibly fit. It was custom made for that planet, for that particular landscape. So, I'll be honest. Even if he told me to blueprint it, I would have said, F it, I can't blueprint it. Because reasons. I'm just pissed that they had to restart the game. I was so happy with what I built this morning. It's another day in Space Engineers. Seems to happen every time. And yet I keep going back. I'm like an abused spouse. I keep going back to Space Engineers. I can't quit it. Anti-Triggers was crippled in that the save function did not work. Anything you did would disappear as soon as you logged off. Anti-Trigger, in all seriousness, after you paste in after you've pasted in the restaurant and whatever you guys play for 5 minutes, please reboot the damn server. Make sure it reboots without screwing up. That's all I ask. I just don't want this to happen again 2 days from now, after people put in tens of hours of time over the next couple of days getting their initial building over. Because the problem is, when you start Space Engineers, you're in a drop pod. You have to spend at least an hour, probably more, getting all the stuff needed to make a basic base so you can make a cryopod so that you can leave the game. Because if you leave the game before you make the cryopod, you lose everything you have. Okay? And your respawn ship disappears. So you have to put in a minimum amount of time. You can't start playing the game for 15 minutes and then save it and come back to it and put in another 15 minutes an hour later. It doesn't work like that. You got to put in a pretty big commitment. You should, I would say, 1 to 2 hours minimum that you're going to be able to play the game to get yourself to the point that you can walk away. You can save your stuff, that it's there when you come back, assuming it's not attacked by another player or destroyed by meteors, mind you. So that's a big assumption. Thomas Bird of Prey, you are so blocked by Star Wars Explained. Yes, I am. I'd never heard of Star Wars Explained, but when I saw everybody reported being blocked by them, I checked it out and I was blocked by them. I don't give a shit, and I'm not going to make a video about it because I couldn't imagine giving them any possible extra publicity. I don't care. I was blocked by them and frickin' Wilson Cruz, the doctor from Star Trek Discovery, who is a dirty bastard and who hates America. And I can prove it, or at least I could prove it, if I could access his Twitter, but I can't because he blocked me. But I have ways, and I've seen the stuff she posted. Epic Beard, yep, that is why Space Engineers is so addictive. Indeed. Indeed. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to call it all for today. I guess the game isn't quite ready. I will let you guys know when it is. You can check the Space Engineers thread on antitrekker.com. We'll try to get the info out there when it's up. And, like I said, if you enjoy Space Engineers, but if you're going to have to, like me, you're going to have to be someone who can accept that they did 3, 4, 5 hours of work and it's gone. It could be gone due to accident. It could be gone due to a bug in the game. Or it could be gone due to a meteor storm. Or it could be gone because somebody attacked you while you were out of the game. Or even if you were in the game, you just couldn't possibly defend yourself because it was 5 against 1, So you're just somebody, you have to be able to accept that. Now I know I get really pissed for the first 10 minutes, but after a half hour I calm down and I collect myself and I get back in the game. So please, if you are okay with that, if you can put 2 days or 2 weeks worth of work into a base And then the next day you come back and it's all gone. And you're like, why is it gone? Like, oh, server crashed. And there's nothing we could do about it. And you can accept that, then yes, you should play Space Engineers. If you know beforehand, you could not accept that you could not accept 2 weeks of work was gone overnight with no way to get it back, then for the love of God, don't get started in Space Engineers. That's it. Anti-Trekker streamed earlier today. I don't know if he's streaming tonight. Oh, Anti-Trekker is going to be on Midnight's Edge After Dark tonight, about 8 p.m. Eastern. So about 2 hours from now, check out Anti-Trekker on Midnight's Edge After Dark. And Anti-Trekker says, Bird, I would not recommend you be a salesman. No, I'm too honest. I know. Sales of Space Engineers are down because of your endorsement. I know. Carlo Berto Prey rage quit Space Engineers trope, but you always come back. I love the building. Exactly. I had a neighbor when I was a kid. His name was Mikey. And he had these giant set of wooden blocks. Now, I was like 8 years old, and he was like 4 years old or 5 years old. So we'd go down and we'd play with his blocks, and he loved to build things, but he was, he couldn't build as much. So I would build this big, gigantic frickin' palace of wooden blocks, and he would build, like a small house. Then he would see everything I built. He would get pissed, and he would knock it all down, and he'd go crying up to his mother, and I would, and I would leave. But the next week, I was back doing the same thing, and this went on for months, if not years, I don't know. But I was I knew after the first few times how it was going to end, but you gotta build. You have to build, even if you know it's ultimately going to be destroyed. There's something about fighting the, what's it called? What's it called? It's the scientific term. Entropy. Fighting the entropy of the universe. Okay? I've got to fight the entropy. It's just something you have to do, whether it's real or virtual. I am the enemy of entropy. Alexander's in the house, says Bird of Prey. Hi, how are you? Alexander. Anti-Trekker was showing off what's your soon-to-be restaurant in Space Engineers. You should check out his morning stream. But I'm doing good, Alexander. Thank you. And Josh Street says, Thomas, when you're done building Alexander's restaurant in the neutral area, can you build the bird and alpaca beagle pits? So Kurogans can buy their favorite food, great beagle wings. Josh Street, it's not funny. Lego on computer, absolutely, Carlo. Although I had the Lego on computer game, but Lego discontinued it. And when I got my new computer, I couldn't download it because it didn't exist anymore. There used to be a Lego computer thing. You used to be able to build your own Lego sets on the computer. Alexander Bird of Prey, you should respect Jar Jar Binks. Carl says, who's Midnight Edge? Is he the guy in the helmet? No, that is, oh man, I'm forgetting his name. I'm so sorry. No, Midnight's Edge After Dark is Midnight's Edge is a very big, entertainment. I'm assuming you know who Midnight's Edge is. But just in case you don't, they're a very big, entertainment journalism company. Not company, people. They do reviews, they talk about upcoming pop culture stuff, a lot of sci-fi stuff. And Midnight's Edge After Dark is kind of just like the live streams where they have less structured topics. Ms. Malone Dallas says, Bird of Prey, there was no entropy in that story. It was a 4-year-old with a jealous streak a mile wide. Well, but at the end of the night, it was entropy. Entropy came for my creations. And Mr. Miles says, Doomcock. What about Doomcock? Doomcock in a helmet. No, I'm sorry. No, Doomcock. Oh, yeah, I guess it is Doomcock in a helmet. I was thinking somebody else, but yes, Doomcock in the helmet. That wasn't the person I was thinking. Ebix is the cock wears a helmet. Isn't that called? No. Actor says, don't confuse Bird on Wednesday, Carlo. Carlo was trying to make you sell his channel. Chris M. Collecting, I recommend toothpicks after eating beagle wings. Mamo Prey's getting upset at all of you, so now I have to end the stream. Who were you thinking of, says Carlo. I wish, he's a relatively new YouTuber. He's one of the people who watches me and Anti-Trekker. I think it starts with an S. He wears his helmet. He does his videos. He hasn't put up a video in the last week or two, I don't think. But when he does, they're decent. The last one he did was actually really good. I forget what his name is, though. There's just so many people. If you're out there, you know who you are. You wear a helmet. More like a motorcycle helmet or something. Not a Doomcock helmet. Thomas is Alexander. It's a movie theater with Star Trek 5 as its only film. That is also true. And I shot at the screen when they refused to play the movie for me. So. Okay, yes, Sassy. Good night, all. Qapla. Take care. Hail Kuroga. And of course, thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe.
That bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out BirdoPrey5.com, the new home of everything Bird of Prey 5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/BirdoPrey5 or on BirdoPrey5.com. Take care.